Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the hottest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to the WARZONE. I got my beautiful co-host, Miss Demetra K, and I am the five-star general, Mr. Accountability. And I got Hall of Fame. Did you hear me? Hall of Fame basketball coach from jACK Senior High School in the building with me tonight. And of course, you know I keeps my crimson and gold on at all times. We're going to get to it, man. I want to thank y'all for taking the time out to come into the WARZONE. It's another day, and we're going to go at it. I want to say hello to my beautiful co-host, Demetra K. Y'all know she ready to go hard in the paint, but tonight I wanted to do something special because this guy means a lot to a lot of people, not just a lot of kids, but to a lot of people. And I want to introduce y'all to my friend, the head coach of the jACK Lions boys basketball team, Coach Greg Wise. What's going on, Coach?
Appreciate it as always. Appreciate the invite.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I mean, when it comes to high school basketball, in the state of Texas, there is none better. I don't care what they say, how they do it. There is none better. I've seen the man take water and turn it into wine. And more importantly, he's a great ambassador for a group of kids that a lot of people have forgotten about, that had given up on. Yates basketball struggled for a lot of years. And then coach came in and he changed the whole culture. So he doesn't run a basketball team. He runs a basketball program. And that's a whole lot different than running a basketball team. Give me a little background information on you, man. Where you grew up, where you went to school. Let the people know who Greg Wise really is.
Sure. A lot of people may not know. I know you know, but grew up in Third Ward, and that's the reason why I'm where I'm gonna be until I finish coaching. Grew up on 2M Street, right across from Emancipation Park. Uh, Went to Ryan, went to Douglas Elementary, then went to Ryan, then went to Yates for 1 year, and then we ended up moving my last couple of years. But I'm Third Ward, homegrown, and so when all the job openings came back, when it was time for me to get back into coaching, I had a lot of offers, but this is the only one I wanted, and felt like I was bringing me back to where I wanted to do, try and do some special things, and that's what we've been trying to do since I've been there.
Well, I know we get to talk all the time, but a lot of people wouldn't understand that, you've won, I think you've won what, 4 state championships?
Yep.
He's won 4 state championships. And that means, I mean, he's coached probably one of the greatest, I think 2 of the greatest basketball teams, that 09-010 team that that you could ever coach in high school basketball in the country. They not only won the state championship, but they won the national championship in every publication that was out there. And I think that's the year we look like some rock stars, man. I mean, no matter where these kids went, they sold the building out. They even broke the record at the Frank Irwin Center in Austin for the state championship on attendance. So if you've never been to a Yates basketball game, you might want to show up if you can get a ticket. I'm gonna tell you now, if you show up late, you ain't getting a ticket because it's gonna be sold out. Don't matter who they playing, they gonna do what they do. Now a lot of coaches, in your position, you win all these state championships, and what makes you not go to the next level? Because I know you've had the offers to go to college, you know, or go to a different high school, make maybe double what you're making at Yates. What makes you stay, coach?
Well, that was the main, and you're right. And also, I want to add, not only were we national champions, that team was just this year named the team of the decade for those 10 years past. So, want to get that shout out to them for that honor. That's a huge honor that they gave us this year. So, but again, my main thing is that I feel like I'm doing so much for the school, the community, for the kids in our area, the kids that I grew up, same area that I grew up in, and so with that, offers come in and higher paying jobs and all of that, but this is where I feel like I was put to do some special things and most important thing.
I think some people are under the impression that you run a program and the boys, they run their courses and they win their championships and they don't go to the next level. How many kids have you sent to how many kids have you sent to the collegiate level, as well as how many kids have you sent to the pros since you've been the coach?
Well, that's one of the things I'm most proud of. When our guys go to college, the coaches hit back and they say they're more prepared than any of the kids that they've ever had. Because when they with us, they learn how to play hard. They learn discipline because that's one of my main things. If you don't do it my way, then you're gonna have a problem playing. And so, and then with the way we play, you notice that you have to play hard. So that's the one thing I'm most proud of. When they go to college, it's not like a shock to them in terms of knowing how to play, understanding coaching, and understanding that you have to play hard at that level. They already had that when they come in. And to a T, we get every coach that they go to, they come back and praise us for that in terms of being ready. I've even went to some University of Houston practices when we've had kids there, and they, the coach will stop and make a point of saying how hard our kids play to get there. But to answer your question, college, we're in 19, so we're gonna go over 20 with this crop of guys that we got going in. We have one, Reuben Jones, is going to North Texas, but we have 3 or 4 other ones that will be going to school, just haven't picked the school yet. So we should be around 23, 24 once we get them in school.
So guys, I want you to understand something. On a basketball team, on an average, he's sending 3 to 4 kids to college on full rides every single year. And I mean, I sit there in amazement when I watch it. Greg Wise is old school. And that's, if you don't know what an old school coach is, go by the gym after school and then you'll figure it out. He old school. He demands respect, which he really does not have to demand it because the kids already know. You might play football and get away with something on that football team, but you already know when you report to the gym for basketball, it ain't happening. It's just not happening. And his kids are some of the greatest ambassadors that the school has. They don't get in trouble. I hardly ever hear of a kid flunking off of one of his basketball teams. It just doesn't happen. So, Demetri, you got the floor.
So hello again, Coach Wise. So one question I have for you, because we know in any team, I don't care if it's an organization, sports, whatever, the leadership is great when people want to follow. So what is the secret? What is your secret, rather, to getting your players to be so exceptional? Like, what are you saying to them? How are you motivating and inspiring them to do a good job? Because we know, I guess, ultimately to go off and maybe be in the NBA is motivation. But before they get there, what are you doing or saying to them to keep them aiming for that goal?
Well, we just follow our program. I feel like, if the kids know you care about them and you stick with your plan and stick with your discipline in terms of not letting them do things and get away with it, because kids these days, they feel like they're good enough to where the coach is going to play them anyway. That's not going to happen at yATES. We're gonna love them. We're gonna work them as hard as they can be worked. When they do wrong, we're gonna follow up with our discipline the way it should be, not let them get away with it, which is one of the things I feel like is wrong with you know, a lot of things going on in the world today in terms of kids at school and not getting the discipline they need. They want that, and so once you give it to them and follow up with it, and they know you're doing it because you care, then you got half of the beat right there.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna say this here. Sometimes, which us being Yates Lions, we could care less. I'm being honest. Coach gets a lot of flack because his boys they score in bunches. They can really go out there and score 200 points if they want to. You get a lot of flack some days for running up the score. But I remember what Coach Booker used to tell us. He say, "Man, you go play the game. I deal with them people." So what do you tell your boys when they're reading the papers just like everybody else, and they see their coach getting all this flack, but those kids go out there and leave it on the floor, and the only way I can say it, they beat the hell out of some of these kids. I mean, and the way I feel about it as a spectator, it's the other coach's responsibility to slow that score down. Because I remember y'all don't know this. I remember when I first got in tune with Coach Wise and his program. They were playing Wheatley in the regional final in Katy. I think you were up by 10, Coach. Uh, with like a minute left. Coach trying to be nice, took his foot off the gas. They lose the game. After that, he ain't doing that no more. He's not doing that. So how do you deal with that from a mental aspect as well as your players when folks are complaining that you're running up the score?
You know what? It may seem like it's hard, but it's actually easy because I'm doing it from what I feel like is right. You know, along with that same year, uh, we played Elsick in a game. It was in the Houston tournament, and we had played a team that wasn't that good before. It was a 2-game deal where you play early, then you come back and play later. So the early game, we played a team that wasn't that good, and so we tried to play a zone and keep the score down, and so we don't even play a zone. Don't even know how to play a zone. So we got in that to try and help keep the score down, and it got our kids out of sync. So that evening when we played Elsick, we were all out of sync, and we ended up losing that game, and I felt like that was my fault. And so I said then that we're gonna always play as hard as we can play. Uh, you know, Once we get into the third and fourth quarter, we're playing our 10 to 15 guys, but they're trying to move up in the rotation also. So put them in and ask them not to play hard. We feel like it's wrong. So we just don't play hard as we can from the beginning to the end. And in that way, I have no regrets in terms of feeling bad that I let my kids down by not letting them play the way they play. And we talked about that before the season, during the season, so our kids understand, and they appreciate that because they want to be able to come in and play hard. We don't want the bottom kids to come in and feel like they just finishing up the game. We want them to feel like they're trying to earn a spot. Same thing we do in practice. You're trying to beat somebody out and earn a spot. So whatever has to come my way because of that, I think all of the people that follow yATES, they see the way we play and feel, proud of the way we play. We're playing for the community, we're playing for the school, we're playing for, the city and the state after that, but we mainly playing for the school and the community and the alumni. So once you're doing that, I feel like, and the community is behind us and understand where we're at and what we're doing, then, whatever else comes from the outside, I'm good with that.
Dimitri?
So regarding like a reward system, I once talked to a coach who, coach, I guess, it's not Little League, that's baseball, but I guess when they're children, he was a basketball coach, and he said he didn't really believe in rewarding the children like when they won, because he didn't want their heads to get big. He just wanted them to feel like that's what they should be doing. So do you agree with that, or do you have some sort of a reward system for them? And then how about when they lose? How do you deal with them in that regard?
I try and treat mine the same whether we win or lose. A lot of times, even if we win the next day in practice, we come back and to make sure their heads are not big, I may even get on them more in terms of making the practice even more stringent, and that's to keep them focused, keep them disciplined, and keep them, humble in what we're trying to do. So we don't want them to play a great game and then come back the next day and have a bad practice. So the day after a great win may be our hardest practice. So we feel like the reward that's going to come at the end of the year. But during the season, we just trying to play as hard as we can. Their reward is going to be play hard and practice hard, and then try and move into that rotation where you can get some playing time.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. I mean, a lot of people, around the city, they get to see Yates from the outside. We're blessed to see it from the inside. And unless you clearly understand, going to Jack Yates Senior High School is it to us is like you going to a historically black college. There are multiple James Madisons throughout the country, multiple Booker T. Washington high schools throughout the country. But in the country, there's only one Jack Yates Senior High School. And I tell people, I always tell coaches, say, man, there's 3 alumni bases you don't want to deal with in the state of Texas. You don't want to deal with the University of Texas. You don't want to deal with Texas A&M, and you definitely do not want to deal with Jack Yates Senior High alumni. You don't want to do it. What does it mean to you to be the coach at this one of the last surviving historically black high schools in the state of Texas?
I mean, and again, to where I grew up, from the time I was born to now, and then to go out and play the way we play and see our crowd and see our fan base and our alumni and everybody behind us. I feel like I don't feel like we have the best crowd in the country for a high school. We have the best backing in the country for a high school. And our kids feed off of that. So one of the reasons we can play as hard as we play and play as well as we play is because we have the home-based crowd that's there for us through thick and thin, and that's one of the reasons that I feel like I can go and do what I do and not worry about anything, because I have that backing of our alumni and our school crowd in terms of they understand what we're doing. So, but to answer your question, you're exactly right. And again, I feel like we have the best crowd in the country, and we feed off of that.
Let's talk COVID-19. I know I had just booked my hotel rooms because the boys made the state tournament. And I didn't come to the pep rally. I say, man, I'm gonna get ready, get the car gassed up, change the oil, and I'm ready to go. Cause if they there on a Thursday, I'm there on a Thursday. I'm gonna rock from the Thursday to the Saturday. That's how I get on every year. And I know from what I understand, you guys made it all the way to San Antonio where they were gonna play the state tournament, and then you get the call that y'all can't play. What was the atmosphere on the bus, man?
Well, kind of got to take it a little bit further back for you to get the full picture of it. We ever since we lost that semifinal game last year, which we felt like if we had been full strength, we would have won that. If you look at, we had Joe, who was the only senior starter and leading scorer, and he hurt his back. Reuben Jones twisted his ankle in the first quarter, and he was, obviously everybody knows how good Reuben is. And then Antoine Norman, who was the district MVP, had bronchitis that whole week, so he didn't practice the whole week and didn't practice at all, and then went in and tried to play the game. So if we had been full strength, I have no doubt that we would have won that. But we lost that game, and so what that did, that fueled us for the whole year this year. Every day in practice we talked about it, and this team was the best team I've had in terms of being focused and wanting to get back and do something that they didn't do the year before. Never had to really get on them that much in terms of making sure we practice hard. They all had the same mindset that I had, and my mindset was to get back there this year and finish it up. I hardly ever brag or make promises, but I told our principal and our athletic director, right after we lost, that we were going to get back this year and win it. And we reminded each other about that all year. So to play as well as we've been playing, and at the end of the year, we're playing the best basketball that we played all year. We just got through playing what was supposed to be the number 4 team in the state, and the team that a lot of people thought was going to give us a game and beat them by 50, and we were just playing as well as you could expect. So, and then on top of that, we were going to end up playing the team that beat us last year in the first game, and we were so pumped and ready for that game, and we could have flew that and played that game. So to drive there on the bus and drive right by the stadium and then just pull up into the hotel, we were supposed to go back in and get dressed and come back out and then go to a shoot around. And right as we pulled up, that's when we got the call, and so we never even got off the bus. We just turned right around, got something to eat, turned right around, and came back. So, but at that time, we were thinking that we would eventually play the game, but they were really upset because we were as pumped as anything could be for that game. And so our mindset was to go to San Antonio and show the state and the high school basketball something that they've never seen before. That was our mindset and the kids' mindset in terms of that game. So to not be able to play it, we understand the reason why, and obviously people, lives, and things of that nature are way more important. But when you put it in the perspective of basketball, that still hurts. And we have Zoom meetings with our kids 2 or 3 times a week, individual meetings with them once a week, and you can just still hear the hurt in them in terms of how bad they want to play that game, and still had hopes. They still have hopes of it being a change, but we know it won't. But kids, their mindset is can we still possibly play the game? But it's still on all of our minds, and it hurts on both ends in terms of how hard we work for the whole year and then get there and then not be able to play.
I'm gonna ask this question, Dimitri, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. I really think that the University Interscholastic League (UIL) should not just award a co-championship to yATES. They should award a co-championship to every team that is not allowed to play. You cannot end the year, not to me, without a state champion in our basketball divisions. I don't see that happening. The girls were able to play a week before, and I think it would be the right thing to do to make all those teams that were going to show up down there, even your opponent, make them co-champions and give them something to feel good about. Because some of these guys take this sports thing so serious that this could demoralize a kid. This could really affect the kid mentally. I think that should be the right thing to do. What's your opinion?
I totally agree, and that's one of the things that we had a meeting with all of the coaches that went, and that's one of the things that we talked about. And the UIL did say that they were going to look into what they were going to be able to do, and they understand that the kids had already made it to the state tournament. So their mindset is to do something. They didn't say what it would be, but they do plan on doing something. And if you look at it, all of the programs that they made, they could easily get those to the kids because they made them all. They can't sell them, and so they have thousands of them sitting there. So we're hoping that they do something in terms of not only that, maybe some medals for the kids. Obviously, a program as a souvenir because the pictures and all of that was already done. So again, I agree totally with you on that. All those kids deserve something. They made it that far.
Ms. Dimitri?
So I want to kind of shift the questioning a little bit to stuff outside of basketball. So you have like someone like Herm Edwards in the NFL, how he has, I don't know if he still does it, but he had like the mentoring type of thing for the new guys that were coming into the league and talking to them about finances and just life lessons. And you've, I don't know if you've seen Steven Jackson, he plays for the NBA as well. Lately, he's taken to his social media to talk to the young guys about things like women and relationships, and how you'll save a lot of money just really dealing with one woman. So I know they're kind of young now, but do you guys incorporate stuff like life lessons in regards to finances and just things successful outside, or because a lot of them will go to the league, right? So are they learning those extra things that'll help them have some longevity financially and just, mentally in every way, shape, or form outside of the court?
Yeah, that's one of the things I feel like we do best. Academically, we have the best academic guy in the state, in the country, in my opinion, and Robert Dooley. And again, even if you go back to what I was talking about in terms of our kids playing hard and colleges coming back and saying they're as prepared as anybody in that way. Academically, I think it's the same way in terms of being eligible to go to college in the first place and having them to make the grades and make the test score and things of that nature where they're eligible to go to college. A lot of kids get to that point, and the schools don't look at taking care of them in that way, and they're not even able to accept the scholarship. So, what we do is we check our guys every week. We check them daily. I even have a group that we call the bottom five. If they're in that bottom five in their GPA or the grades for that week, we make them run after every practice until they get above that. So we want them to do as great as they can in academics, just like they do in sports. So you're in that bottom five, we practice over, and we get a little running in, and we try and motivate you in that way to do the best you can. We want you to do it, from the inside out in terms of just talking to them every day about how important that is. But if it doesn't work, then I can go to the next level and get you ready in another way. We also have people to try and speak to you. Anybody that we know. Joseph Young that is playing overseas now and play with the Pacers, and we have him come back and talk to him in terms of what he went through in college, what he's going through in the professional level, and that's just one of the guys. We have guys come in all the time that they may not even have graduated from yATES to speak to them in terms of kind of exactly what you're talking about, in terms of understanding how to succeed in life and how to succeed once you get to school and how to take advantage of that education, because you're probably making in the professionals, but you can be just as great in terms of whatever you decide to be in life. You can be just as great as that as you are in basketball.
Well, Coach, let me ask you one last question. I know which one it was for me. What was that one game that stuck out in your mind where it just looked like, oh, this ain't working tonight, and then all of a sudden it just started clicking?
I'd have to give you two. One would be obviously the one we won that state championship, the one where Joe suffered a concussion and came out
the tunnel and hit 3 threes.
Back in, so yeah, and that looked like it was a game that we probably won't win, and that's one of the games that I can go back on and look at, is that you look at our guys in terms of understanding how to play hard the whole time. If they didn't do that the whole time, then even with Joe coming in and doing that, we still would have been able to win that game. And then the second one would be we were playing the second-ranked team in the country. At that time, they were the number one team in the country. And for a championship game in the Hawaii tournament, which is the biggest high school tournament in the country at that time, And to piggyback on that, just to let everybody know, we just got invited back to that for next year. So we're really looking forward to that. And alumni, some things we got to do to raise money for, not for the tournament and all that, because they'll pay for that, but just just things that we want to make sure the kids have fun and enjoy themselves when they're down there. But that game we were down by 10 and came back in the fourth quarter and won that one. And the reason that one sticks out is because if we hadn't beat that team and won that game, we couldn't have been the number one team in the country. So once we beat them, that put us at two, tied for one. And then the team that was tied with us, they end up losing in the playoffs. That's toward the end of the year, and that's what allowed us to be the best team in the country. So if we hadn't come back and won that state championship game, we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I know we got Joe Young playing overseas. We got Damian Dotson playing for the New York Knicks. Y'all got to understand the history of this program. It wouldn't have been no Phi Slamma Jamma over there with Akeem Olajuwon at U of H if Michael Young and Ricky Winslow didn't show up. You got to understand what then came through that gym. Carvin Holcomb, used to light the Southwest Conference up. I mean, there have been great coaches on the hardwood. Hall of Fame coach we're looking at right now, and of course on the gridiron, we don't even want to talk about the number of players that have gone to the NFL. We can't even count the number of players that have gone to college. It's crazy. So I want to thank you for everything that you do, Coach. But I got a gift for you boys. I know, and I'll deliver it personally because I got to do it because some of them will end up leaving and going to school. I run the Hall of Fame for Yates, and I waived the rules this year because normally I see Coach every year on the first day of school, and I ask him the same question. Coach, how we looking this year? Can I book my rooms? I'm telling y'all what I do. And he told me at the beginning of the year, he said, yeah, you can go and book them this year. Go and book them, man. That means I'm booking my rooms for the state tournament 9 months in advance. I say, we ain't got to worry about seals being the reason. He said, don't even worry about that. We good. Don't worry about that. So, man, I waived the rules for the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to put this team this year, when we have the Hall of Fame banquet later on this year, this team will be inducted into the Jack Yates Hall of Fame.
And you're exactly right. And again, I don't brag, but this year that just shows you how focused we were in terms of positive mindset, in terms of knowing we were going to get back and do what we didn't do. And I remember that conversation we had, and really appreciate you and the alumni and everybody for what they do for the program. And again, that's the backbone of what makes me excited every day about practice and playing and ready to do that. What is to look in the eyes of the alumni and how proud they are of what we do. That's all I need to be focused and really happy about what's going on. And for you to give them that honor after they didn't get to play, that's going to be huge. For me to tell them that once we have our next Zoom meeting with all of the disappointment and not being able to play, for you to do that and then to be able to receive that is special.
And I got one more gift. The last time you guys went to Hawaii, you didn't see it coming. I'm one of them alumni. I don't talk like a G, I walk like one. I walked into the school with 2 rollaway suitcases with brand new uniforms for them kids. I say they not going to Hawaii and not going to be dressed right. So you can expect 2 new sets of uniforms from me for your boys for them to go to Hawaii and play in. God bless you, Coach. I mean, it's just me being me. I love what you do. I love the vibe of the whole program. And if you're looking for a good school, a school that has everything that you want in it, teachers, administrators that's going to love your kids, programs, we made sure that we had the top of the line programs for our kids. Send them to Yates. Don't let them people tell you don't send your kid down to Third Ward. You're going to miss a hell of an education and you're going to miss a hell of a time because there's nothing like being a Jack Yates line. I can promise you that. And once you in that fraternity, you in that fraternity for life. So thank you, Coach, for everything that you do, and keep doing what you do. But last question, I know it ain't the first day of school. How we looking next year? Can I book my rooms?
Make sure you come back and ask me again. But if I'm going by this, as disappointed as we were a year ago, then we're gonna be double as disappointed this year. So, in my mindset, I can say, yeah, you can feel comfortable in doing that.
I'm gonna book my rooms tomorrow. Thank you, Coach.
Make sure everybody comes out and watches this year because we're gonna be just as, hopefully, just as fun to watch and trying to make the city and especially our alumni community as proud as ever.
All right, Doctor. Thank you for everything you do, man.
All right, thank you, buddy. You too now.
All right. Say if you don't understand, I'm telling y'all, it's nothing like going to this school. I'm 52 years old, and I promise you, I could put a yay shirt on every day. I got that many. I got that many of them, and it's not just because of sports. It's because of everything that you get when you go there. You get people that care about you. They're tough on you. He's tough on those kids, and I'm talking about old school tough. They know not to play with him. So to where I'll be two things the rest of my life. I'll be Gary W. Monroe, and I'll forever be a Jack Ace Lion. And according to the way I got my funeral set up when I die, I get to ride one last time through Third Ward, and they stop me in front of the school. Just sit me there for about 5 minutes, let me soak it in, and y'all can go drop me in that hole. That's how it is. But I mean, that's how it is, man. And we bleed it. We bleed these colors, man. We bleed these colors. How you doing tonight, Ms. Dimitri?
I'm doing well. I just want to say, you know what? That is so awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you are doing all you do, for the high school. We need 100 more like you. I hope, there's people out there really taking notes from your philanthropy. We need, like I said, more people like you just to give back. Giving those kids a new uniform, that's mind altering in and of itself. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I'm able to do it, then I'm gonna do it, because I know when I showed up at Yates, I ended up, I'm in the Hall of Fame at Yates on a football team, and I was a first ballot Hall of Famer with my team. But when I showed up at Yates, I had never played football a day in my life. Never. I was actually Rudy. I used to get beat up in practice, and I was just a crash dummy dude. And coach just told me, say, you got to work harder. You got to keep working. And I say, man, I want to quit. He say, no, you don't quit here. You don't quit. And I got tricked into playing football because I'm walking down the hallway on the first day of school in the 9th grade. Coach Wayne Johnson sees me. He say, what class you in at 6th period? I say, I think they got me in art. He say, go in there and tell the counselor put you in PE. I didn't have a clue that PE was freshman football. I didn't have a clue. And I went out there, and the first year I did not play one down. I was just on the team, on the sideline. They would run over me in practice, and that summer after that, I had an old sofa in the front yard, and I would foul off the line. I was a lineman, and I just kept working all summer until I tore that sofa in half. So we'll flip it, because I ain't gonna go through every year. But by the time that we walked on the field to play for the state championship when I was a senior against the quote unquote Friday Night Light boys, Odessa Permian, who got beat 37-0, I was a starter. That means everybody that was in front of me for 3 years was now backing me up. And, it just came down to that last position being open. You had two coaches, the head coach and the assistant coach, arguing about, is it Monroe we going to put there, or is it Ernest Wilkins? And the head coach asked the assistant coach, Maurice McGowan, he said, why you like Monroe so much? He's so small. He said he going to play 4 quarters if he don't do nothing else. He going to give you 4 quarters of football. That's all he understand. And honestly, I was crazy. That's all I understood. I mean, just play my heart out for 4 quarters. And I want you to understand the position that I played. The people that were in front of me was 6'4", 6'5" guys. And and I'm only 5'4". So, I mean, these guys had a whole foot over me. And the best player that I played that year, and people get mad when I say it, the ones that I played with, you know, who the best player you played against? If you ask a yATES player, that they'll say a yATES player. And I said, no, it ain't a yATES player. Well, who is it? I say Alfred Williams from Jones. 2-time Buckets Award winner at the University of Colorado, and he won 2 Super Bowl rings with the San Francisco 49ers. I said I couldn't block him. It was nothing that I could do. I could block anybody else on any other night, but I couldn't handle Alfred for nothing in the world. It wasn't going to happen. But the thing is when you go in, you bust your behind. But the one thing our coach demanded of us is that we did it in the classroom. It was 504 seniors in our class, 504. And the top half of the graduating class was all athletes. It was the top 10% saturated with all athletes. So we could do it on the field and we could do it in the classroom. And they demanded it. If not, on report card day, you had to go and see the Board of Education. And if y'all don't know what the Board of Education is, you know what that is. Because if you had to get them pops, a D, well, how they started at a C. A C was 1 pop. A D was 2 pops. A F was 5. And depending on who was going to give them to you, you had to be very careful, because if you got the crazy coach, he might miss your button and hit you in your back. But that's the chances you took playing football where we were. But I mean, to go to a school like that, and right now their current principal, Tiffany Guillory, I mean, she loves her children, and she'll tell it to anybody. She'll go above and beyond for those kids to make sure that, one, that they're safe. That school has to be safe. 2, that they're learning at the highest level. So, you know, the program I developed, you know, every year they do a thing where they go out to the community, the whole district, and they try to get kids that have dropped out to come back. So the average school they got 2 or 3 kids they found. With the program that we developed for the Music, Entertainment, Entrepreneurship Academy, we average 28 kids coming back that dropped out. They come back. So, you know, your coach is phenomenal, man. I mean, and if you've never been to a yATES high school basketball game, I'm talking about, it's like, it don't matter. We'll sell a whole building out with just us. And the crazy part, I think they broke the record this year, 21 straight games over 100 points. Oh, on any given night, they can score 175. They can score 200. And I mean, they played what they call 40 minutes of hell. That means they running and trapping all the way up and down the floor. So these kids are in top-notch shape. And I'm like, ain't no way in hell I could do that. So ain't no way. Talk to me. I mean, it's so much going on. I think I mean, we've been talking about politics. We've been talking about, you know, COVID and all this stuff here.
Well,
right now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, we can switch it up a little bit if you like.
Let's go.
I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and as you guys know, the NFL draft is taking place. I think it's day 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been, you know, some people have been sending things to my inbox in regards to some of the players, which a lot of them are Black. We know the NFL is 70% Black, give or take, players. And so we see a lot of Black athletes getting drafted. And sometimes, and I would say oftentimes, you see them, and, you know, no shade to nobody else, but I'm just, you know, putting it out there, see the Black athletes with white women or white girls. And so I had actually a few people ask me what's going on. And then I've even had some people doubt that this might be calculated. Now, when I say it might be calculated, that, you know, putting said girls or women in the path of these, you know, athletes, these great athletes in college even, because a lot of them know they're going to get drafted. Some people think, oh, well, you know, I don't think it's by design. And I, you know, tend to think it is. And for anybody who's seen Spike Lee's movie, He's Got Game, it kind of spoke to that a little bit. And so I guess I want to know, you know, from you and then everybody else, what's going on with that, for one thing? And is it calculated? So is there a system? Is there an entity that's purposely putting these women in the path of these Black athletes, because it is also said that, you know, the wealth that these athletes are going to acquire will not fully go to the Black community. Some of it will go to the white community if he's marrying a white woman or whoever else, someone else is not Black. And so is that by design?
I went to college and I saw things. It's three guys, and this is just what I saw through my lens. It's three guys that get the women on campus: scholars, athletes, and damn fools. I'm telling y'all, I seen it. But the thing about the athletes that's so unique is I just kind of watched it, because when I went to college, I didn't want to play football. I just won a state championship. I was burnt out on football. I didn't want to play. So I got to watch, because I want to see how these girls interact with these athletes. And it seems that the white girls gravitate more to the Black athletes. And it's like, to the Black athletes, there's something sort of like a trophy, you know, to be able to walk around the campus with the Caucasian lady. But I also saw something, and I called them, I don't want to pay this 100. I called them seasoned, because when it's football season, they rocking with the football players. When it's basketball season, they switching over to the basketball players. When that's over, they got a couple of months, they messing with the baseball players. But it's the same thing. It's like the popular thing to do, which is get somebody outside of your race. And honestly, and while I'm there, I'm asking questions while I'm seeing this. And I sat down with a Black girl and a white girl, and I say, why do y'all date guys that's different from your race? And how do you make it work? Well, the Black girl was like, I want to be loved. I'm telling you right now, he gonna love me. And the white girl was like, he don't have to love me. I'll learn how to love him. He can learn later on. So it seemed to me, to them, that it was like, I'm gonna hook up with him because I know he has a big possibility of going to the league, which honestly, you have less than a 1% chance in any sport to make it to the highest level. But it seems more of a plot, you know. And if you noticed, like some of these people that got drafted, they not only do they have girlfriends of different colors, they already have babies. Some of them already have babies, so the plot is on. And it doesn't matter what color it is. I mean, it's just the plot is on. That's their meal ticket. You know, when you look at who was that? CeeDee Lamb, who went to Oklahoma last year, got drafted by Dallas. Come to find out, his girlfriend is the ex-girlfriend of Trae Young that plays for the Atlanta Hawks. You see what I'm saying? You bounce from basketball to football. A season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any denying that that's a thing. But we also know a lot of Black successful men, not all, but a lot of them, they've been told or taught to some degree that, you know, having a woman other than his own makes him successful. A lot of times, too, it's seen as, you know, a punch in the eye to the white man. I got your woman. You know, I got what you said I couldn't have. And so I definitely think some of that is by design. But it was just questions people were asking me due to the draft going on. Why do we think that's the case? And like I said, somebody was in complete doubt, like that there is a system or some, you know, calculation going on to hook these two people up. And I'm like, well, you better open your eyes a little bit, because, you know, we know that these women aren't going for just the average Joe on, you know, the school campus for the most part. You know, like you said, they're in the locker rooms or near it, you know, trying to hook up with one, if you will. And so that person too said, well, the onus shouldn't just be on the other people who's, you know, making the wheels turn. It should also be on the guy. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not saying it's not on him, but if that's what he prefers, fine. But I think there definitely is a pattern, a thing, if you will.
I think we've got to accept the fact that the plot is on. I mean, and a black athlete is no different than a white athlete. So I'm gonna just talk about by people. You've had some great examples of how it turns out. Tiger Woods, how much money did he lose? You see what I'm saying? You know, you've had some great examples of how it turns out. You know, I mean, it just looks like a plot to get money, and then all of a sudden you marry them, and it doesn't work out. You know, they didn't have a prenup, and now all of a sudden you got to come off all this money, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, I just read about Steven Jackson leaving his bride at the altar because she would not sign that prenup. And Steven say, I'm not doing it. No. And then when she wanted to speak to him before the wedding, she wouldn't sign it. He went and he spoke to her. She said, I'll do it. He said, but he wasn't no fool then. He said, I'm not finna do it. If you do it now, you're gonna do it under duress. You can come back and they can throw this out. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, in today's time, I say it's a plot. Knowing what I know, seeing what I've seen in the last 10 years, it's a lot of sack chasing going on. And I'm just being honest. It's everybody looking for the bag. And if they can bag them an athlete, if you can pull a CeeDee Lamb, which I don't see that working. I see trust issues when you snatching that phone. I see that. You see what I'm saying? I just think that they have to and honestly, when they get drafted, they go to the rookie symposium because like I say, I come from a school where a lot of guys went to the NFL. So they come back and they tell us, they go to the rookie symposium and they go over all of this with them to make them aware. You're going to have girls coming at you from every angle. They'll sneak in the hotels and all that. Say, man, honestly, if we're going to have these conversations, we got to be brutally honest. It is a problem for black and white people when that happens. A lot of people are not comfortable with it. And I can honestly say, I've never been interested in a white girl because I've only dated black ones. It's not that I didn't like them. I just felt black women had bigger booties. I'm telling you, I'm being honest.
At least you're honest. But just real quick, because I know I see you have another topic going on there, but I also saw the Steven Jackson interview. Actually, Al sent it to me. Al keeps me abreast of all the sports stuff. I don't come up with a lot of this stuff on my own at all. But so as you said, he didn't. He spent $400,000 on this wedding. Yep. Not 4,000, not 40,000, but almost $500,000 on this wedding. The fiance at the time was lagging on signing the prenup, and so they get to the wedding, and she still hasn't signed, and so he's called off the wedding. He's like, "I'm not doing it. You're not going to force, because maybe she thought, well, hell, we're here." He's not going to waste $400,000. Surely he's going to forego the the prenup, and we'll just get married. But no, he said, I'm not getting married, called off the wedding. He was tore up, distraught and everything. But, there is another question. Should people, is asking somebody to sign a prenup indicative that I don't love you enough?
Hell no, just being smart. You came here with nothing, you're going to leave with nothing.
Well, and it's going to sound weird coming from me as a woman, but, women have men sign prenups too.
Yes.
But I agree. I think there should be a prenup. Now, obviously, in the prenup, there's going to be provisions for the person who has to sign it. You'll get this X amount of dollars or whatever. If whatever doesn't go right, the wedding ends or the marriage ends, there'll be something for you. But I totally agree. I don't think it's because in his case, Steven Jackson, he outlined it perfectly. He said, listen, I take care of my kids. I take care of my mom, my family. And if I were, it would be irresponsible of me to not sign a prenup, and then God forbid we don't work out, and you run off with at least half of what I need to take care of everybody else. And so
now you got to remember, Steve is originally from Port Arthur, Texas.
Okay.
You know, he went to Port Arthur, Lincoln. So to get married in the state of Texas, he was getting married in Houston. That is a community property state. So if he doesn't sign that prenup and something happens, she automatically gets half.
Right. So, and then someone said marriage is a business decision as well. And you know, I'm not mad at him either. I mean, I don't think that's because I think people tie money a lot to love, and it's not. It's just it's a smart business move. Unfortunately, marriages don't always last, and so like you said, there's been plenty of examples of, you know, people, men and women, getting taken to the bank, you know, or to the cleaners, you know. And I've been married to you 3 years, and here you go. You know, you want $1 million a month because that's the type of lifestyle you was accustomed to living. But before we got together, you was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, and all of a sudden you want to try to, you know, get all this money. So I wouldn't be offended if somebody asked me to sign a prenup, you know, and hopefully you work on trying to make the marriage last, you know, because if you don't, to me, on the flip side of it, if you don't want to sign a prenup, but what are you saying? You're not trying to be with me? You know, we're supposed to be working this out, and then hopefully you're being productive, you know, earning some money or making the money grow or whatever, you know.
You know, normally, and I don't know the details of folks' financials, but prenups come into play when one person has way more money than the other one. So if I was somebody was telling me, look, I mean, I'm a multi-millionaire. Well, I don't want to sign a prenup. As long as your money can match mine, we don't have to, because if you leave, you ain't gonna, if I give you half of what I got and you give me half of what you got, gonna be the same number. But people are in protect mode nowadays. People are not marrying people anymore like that for love. They doing it for financial gain. And if they can get them an athlete and pop a baby too, oh, you're set for the next 18 years. You set, or he gonna be in jail. So, you know, I think that prenups serve a purpose. You know, I understood. I know Steve. Matter of fact, you feel what I'm saying? I know this cat. So, you know, the thing is if she didn't want to sign it, just say it from day one. Why wait 6 or 7 months and play the game? See, that what hit him. It was in his head. He knew it was a game. Somebody told him don't sign it. So the day of the wedding, he told him it was off. And you notice his grandma say she already knew what was going on. So he listened to his grandma. He listened to his grandma. I mean, for me, if it's not about a plot, then, you know, if you're going to be together forever, you don't need a prenup. I think people put prenups in place too when they know it's a big chance that they're not going to be there. This is only going to last for a short period of time. So, you know, you tell me your philosophies on that.
I mean, I think prenups could work if you know, because you could put provisions in the prenup as well. Like, for instance, if you cheat, then I automatically get this, that, the other, or whatever, you know. So there's things. A prenup is not like one prenup fits all. You can design it the way you want. Like some celebrities say, you know, for however many babies you have by me, you get X amount of dollars if, you know, the marriage don't work out. But I think prenups get a negative connotation a lot. But like you said, it really is a way of protection. It doesn't indicate that I don't love you. And I don't even think it says, just a little bit. It says I don't trust you. But I think it more so speaks that I'm protecting my assets. You know, I'm protecting, because like in Steven Jackson's case, he says it's not just me that would get taken to the cleaners. It's my whole legacy. And it was somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was a football player as well. But he was saying, you know, me paying all this money, you know, without a prenup, that goes my legacy. If I'm giving it to somebody I wasn't with for a long time, so I gotta protect that. So I don't see a problem with it. I don't think that's and you know, some people make a lot of money and they don't sign it at all. They just say, hey, I'm with you and we're going to be together forever. And then of course they, you know, divorce court, you know, try to fight over their riches. And so I mean, I think everybody has a say so. And now somebody's trying to slide you a prenup and say, here it is, I need you to sign it. You have no say so. You're not getting anything. You're going to leave the marriage with the 2 pair of shoes you came with. Then, yeah, you might want to say, okay, because I'm here. I'm going to help you build to some degree, whether I stay home and I make life easier for you. Something I want to leave with more than I want to be reimbursed, if you will, for my time, especially if it wasn't me or that made the marriage break up. I want to be reimbursed for my time. I think that's smart.
I mean, look at the money that Tiger Woods' wife got.
She deserved it, though.
Why? She wasn't hitting no golf balls.
This mofo had 50-11, I'ma say it, holes. 50-11 holes on the side. You don't think she was you know what, matter of fact, Tiger Woods.
She wasn't hitting no golf balls.
You know what, though? But she married, see, this would mean you gonna fight. She married that man. And I bet you in her wildest dreams, did she ever, okay, 1 maybe. Not saying it's right, but 100. I mean, they're coming up all over the place with Gloria Allred. I mean, it was just like they were coming out of the woodworks. It was so bad to where Tiger didn't even fight her. He says she can have whatever she wants. Well, he didn't even fight her, whatever she wants. Because he knew he did her dirty. So, I mean, I think and Juanita Jordan, I know that was like the litmus test of, oh, she's a gold digger. But what a lot of people don't know is Juanita, that she wasn't. Juanita was with Jordan before he became Michael Jordan. And so not only did he cheat on her once, it was like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, we all seen it in the tab.
Give me your opinion. And if you have to get with Al, tell me. Dwayne Wade and his ex-wife. Wade basically abandoned that woman.
He did her dirty.
But there was no prenup. So she got a couple of dollars and now she broke.
You know what, though? I think their case is a lot different because not only did she end up with, okay, he gave her some money, but whatever. You know, he took her children too. I mean, the lady he just completely broke the lady. Not financially, but just mentally. And just like you take a woman, okay, it's one thing you're tricking off on me. You're left with the new woman who happened to be Gabrielle Union. Okay, whatever. Then you take my children and I'm, you know, left homeless or whatever, you know, to whatever degree. I mean, come on.
Well, I tell you what, that's going to lead us to our conversation tomorrow.
Okay.
Child support. To be or not to be? Because there's some bullshiggity going on with this child support. Final words, young lady.
You know, I thoroughly enjoyed Coach. I like learning a lot from him and how he runs his program. And I would just say too, in you know, regards to prenups or whatever, just make sure. I mean, you will never really truly know you're with the real deal. Because like I always say, people always put their best foot forward when you get with them. Like I said, they don't say, oh, I just want you to know I'm going to, you know, cheat on you every once in a while. It's going to be about 2 or 3 holes popping out the woodwork throughout our relationship. And you know what? You think that's bad? I might bring a baby home on you. And if people don't say that kind of stuff, or you know what? I'm not wanting to keep a job, or I'm horrible with finance. They never tell you that up front. They always say, oh gosh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. So you never really know. You try to get to know a person as much as you can, but I'm not necessarily mad at prenups because I think people should protect what they have built because there's always that what if. So
I'll say this here. I came in broke. I hustled up the money for the wedding. And when you divorce me, you're going to get as much as I came in with. And that's what it is. I ain't going to play with you. Cause I ain't had $1 million when you came here. You can get half of this, $742 when we leave. And that's what it is. Say, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Warzone, man. My beautiful co-host, Demetra K. Our guest tonight, Coach Greg Wise. Tomorrow night, child support. To be or not to be. I am the 5-star general, Mr. Accountability. And I'll holler at y'all tomorrow, man.